Welcome to the Beyond Ears podcast, a podcast about all things Disney.
You are listening to episode 46. We have a lot to cover today. We're doing Black Panther review. We've got the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. And then I think Josh has some Marvel news we're going to talk about.
Not like big news, just some tidbits of news.
What do you want to do first?
I guess let's just get into the Black Panther review.
Okay. So we did a spoiler-free review right after we came home from seeing the movie. And the plan was to do the full review like immediately after that. But of course, life happens and now we're here. It's been several weeks, but
yeah, this will be week 3.
Yeah.
So what do you want to, I guess, what do you want to say about the movie, or like how do we want to do this here?
Yeah, so
because I don't want to go through it scene by scene
Yeah,
because
no.
I can't remember.
We're not doing that. Some high points for me.
Okay.
I really liked the movie, but for me, it is not going to be one that I watch very often. I could picture myself maybe watching it one more time, and that's probably it. Unless we are doing some like dedicated rewatch.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't need to see it again for a lot of reasons. So first and foremost, it was a really heavy movie. Obviously, with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, that kind of cast a big shadow on the overall production of the movie and just the vibe of the movie, because it doesn't feel right, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's any way that it could have felt right without him. So you get that. The beginning, I thought they did a great job with the tribute.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like a respectful tribute to him, with the way that they changed the Marvel logo at the beginning, and then just his mural of him in the movie, and then at the end of the movie, that sequence with what am I trying to say? The sequence of clips from throughout him being Black Panther. I thought that was really special.
Oh yeah.
So what else did I like about it? Okoye was phenomenal, and I love her so much. She's such a badass. Love her. I've always liked her. She's always been a very strong female character.
Mm-hmm.
But in this movie, I feel like she really got to shine, and we got to see a little bit more from her. And I loved every second with her in it.
Yeah, she was in Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Michonne, I think. It's been a while since I've seen The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I haven't watched all
but
of
I'm
it.
pretty sure that's
it's
where
Michonne, yeah.
Yeah. She's awesome in that.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
Mm-hmm. So I loved her. We'll get to the things that I didn't like in a minute.
Okay.
Namor. I loved the casting of Namor, and I thought the actor did a phenomenal job.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually really liked the story. I felt like he was a good anti-hero. Because I really actually liked him, like straight out of the gate. I was like, okay, yeah, let's work together and come to like some sort of an agreement instead of having to fight.
Yeah.
So I really liked him. I'm glad that he didn't die, because I want to see more of him. I want to see more of that world. Obviously the mom, what's her name?
Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett. Another badass bitch. I freaking love her. She plays a queen like no one else. Like, she's just amazing, stunning. And I just loved her. She's like so powerful. Love that. What else? Riri Williams was okay. Wasn't like my favorite thing.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
What about Shuri?
I didn't really like Shuri.
Really?
Yeah. So why don't you tell me about the things that you liked?
So I loved the overall plot of the movie as a whole. Kind of like, it's two worlds, but they're the same kind of thing. The action was great. The comedy that was in the movie, I thought landed well, and it wasn't like a forced comedy.
Yeah.
So I didn't get any of that like effect. Like you said, it was very heavy, obviously with the passing of Chadwick Boseman. But for the most part, I think I would rewatch this movie more than I would rewatch the first Black Panther.
Interesting.
And I think a lot of it is because of Namor. He just brought this, like, I know Michael B. Jordan had like a lot of gravitas like in his movie, like just like as a grounded, like, this dude's a badass kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I liked Namor's like through line a lot better than I liked Michael B. Jordan's.
Yeah, he was very powerful. Very powerful. And
Yeah.
I love that.
And he kind of like, he demanded like a presence, but not like Killmonger did. Like Killmonger was like begging for it, and I guess Namor was just kind of like, I'm like 500 years old. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
He doesn't need people to respect him. It just happens.
Yeah. So I loved his character. I would say like he was my favorite part of the movie. I loved Shuri for sure, because this is like a whole, like the 5 stages of grief for anyone, like through this movie. Like you get, I don't know what the 5 stages are, but like I know that's what the plot of the movie was going for, because that's kind of what the director had said, that you like see her go through like kind of each stage of like grief and like acceptance and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I love that. I also loved, I mean, all the side characters I thought were great. Nakia was great. Like she wasn't even in it like a ton, but the scenes that she was in it, like I'm captivated by her. I think she's great anyway. Or the actress is great.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. M'Baku, he was probably like my second favorite part about the movie. I love what they've done with his character from like the first Black Panther. He was kind of like not the anti-hero, but an antagonist, I would say. And then like throughout the movie, he like is like, okay, like Wakanda's like our place. And then obviously in Infinity War and Endgame, Infinity War and Endgame, like he's side by side with T'Challa. Like they've got like a brotherhood thing going, and this to me is like the perfect place for him to be kind of not like a figure for Shuri, but like someone to like reach out to kind of thing.
Yeah.
I did love Riri. I thought every scene that she was in, she kind of stole the scene, because I thought she was hilarious, especially like when they go to pick her up from MIT.
Yeah, that scene was good.
And I didn't like her Iron Man armor at all.
You didn't?
Not at the end of the movie. I didn't like it.
Okay.
But we'll go into that later. And I'm trying to think. That's really about it. I mean, obviously Angela Bassett was awesome as Queen Ramonda. Yeah, I would say like my favorite thing though was definitely Namor. And then I would say M'Baku was probably like my second favorite thing.
Yeah. He was great.
And then just like all the characters. I mean, I feel like they really went hard with this movie because it was like such an emotional movie, and for like a lot of reasons, and they just like they wanted to make it the best movie they could, like in honor of Chadwick. So on that aspect, I think they all did a great job. So that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. So what did you dislike about it, if anything? Or what do you wish they had done something differently?
I would say that I'll go with like the scenes I didn't like, because that would be easier for me. the final scene where they're on that ship and they're all fighting on that boat, I'm not a fan of that scene at all. I feel like it could have been like a better drawn out scene. Now when like Namor and Shuri are on that beach and they're fighting like one on one and she like rips his wing off. That was awesome to me. But like the fight between the Wakandans and the Talokans,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just didn't like buy that
Mm.
that whole sequence at all. I'm trying to think of the other sequences that I didn't like. It's hard for me to think back now, but like I just remember that standing out. Like it just didn't feel great to me. Like that scene with all of them fighting on that ship, wasn't a fan. God, I can't think. I did not like Shuri, or not Shuri's. I did not like Riri's Iron Man or Wakanda Iron Man armor. I thought it was too much. It's too like, I don't even know. I just was not a fan of that suit. And I don't know. I can't think of anything else that I was like. I'll probably think of more when we talk about it more, but I want to hear what your thoughts are.
Okay, so this is not necessarily something that I didn't like about it, but I will say it was a little bit slower paced. Like the first half was a little bit slow. So when you're doing a rewatch, I think you might get a little bored, or I would on a second rewatch or a third rewatch. For the first time, it was great because it was doing a lot of world building and stuff. But I think in the future, it'll be a little slow. Movie was pretty long, which is not a bad thing. You know, I'm fine to sit there for 2.5 hours or whatever. Oh. I don't know. I'm really undecided on how I feel about. I like that they did the funeral for T'Challa and they just killed off that character because I feel like that pays respect to Chadwick and someone else can take up the mantle of the Black Panther, which is what they did in this movie with Shuri. Mm-hmm. I don't think Shuri is the right Black Panther. She's not like, and it was, I like her as a character. I like what she has done so far as being like really tech savvy, really, really smart. She works really great with that stuff. And she's kind of like the, I don't know, like the
comedic relief.
No, like the puppeteer, not the actual thing that's like doing the show. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like she's the one who's in the background pulling all the strings, but she's not the main character. Yeah. So it's kind of weird to see her try to step into that role because I don't think she's like strong enough. Like I didn't believe the fight at the end with Namor. I didn't believe that she could win that. Mm-hmm. And even though she did, I still don't think that she could have or she should have. You know, like that was crazy to me. She just hasn't been presented as like a powerhouse. I would have liked to seen someone else take up the mantle as Black Panther. It just was weird. I like the character for who she is, but I don't think she's the right Black Panther. What else? I was going to say something else that was on the tip of my tongue. Ooh, okay. So when she drank the the flower thing, and then she got to see Killmonger. Yeah. I'm like, she saw Killmonger. So what? I hated that when she woke up, she like refused to tell anybody that she saw Killmonger. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like why won't you tell anybody that? Mm-hmm. Like to me, that was so weird. And maybe that would have made a difference to me in the way I perceived her as the Black Panther and the way I saw her, because to me, honesty shows strength and courage. And the fact that she couldn't tell anybody that or didn't want to tell anybody that, I was like, okay, you're weak. Like, why would you not share that? You know what I mean? it takes courage to share something like that. And the fact that she didn't, I was like, okay, I'm bored with this at this point.
Yeah. No, I get that. I like that scene a lot where she's talking to him. But at the same time, I was a little annoyed with, obviously, because Nakia was like a sister to Shuri. And she's like, who did you see? Who did you see? And she wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
This was annoying to me.
I agree. I didn't understand that, you know?
Yeah. Another thing that I was going to say earlier was I didn't think that they should have spent more time with Namor as a character. That's like what I didn't like, is that they could have fleshed. I mean, it was such a long movie, and there was a couple scenes where it's just really slow. They could have fleshed out more of like Namor's backstory, kind of thing, or they could have spent more time at Talokan, or maybe not even spent time there, but you just see him more prominent. Like if the beginning was like the funeral scene, or you just start out with like Namor like 100 years ago or something like that. I think it would have been more interesting. And then you have the funeral scene, and then like you're introduced to Namor throughout the movie, because he kind of just shows up.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I really like the scenes in Talokan.
Mm-hmm.
Talokan, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
I thought they were really beautiful, and I love just the history behind it and the people. Thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So I want to see more of that for sure.
I like that this movie, well, even with Black Panther 1, Ryan Coogler, the director, has done like a great job of this like very techno organic vibe, where like Wakanda is like very technologically advanced, but like the buildings look like tree houses, and like everything kind of like flows with the nature of like Wakanda. And I felt Talokan, like compared to Aquaman, where it's like a bright neon city underwater, like Talokan is just like what you would think like an underwater world would look like, and then they have like a giant orb that's a light.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of how they get their quote unquote like sun, but that's how they that's how they live. It's just like very organic to like the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed that as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about what else. I mean, the main thing was for me was just Shuri. You know, like I said before, I like her as a character. I like what she's done so far, but I just don't feel like she's the right Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish someone else would have like kind of become that.
Who would you have wanted to see pick up the mantle then?
What are the rules? You know more about the comics. So what are the rules for becoming a Black Panther?
Well, the combat.
Yeah.
The trial by combat kind of thing. And I guess that's really about it.
That's really it. There's no no family history type of thing that has to be followed.
I mean, other than the family history that they had, like, as T'Chaka was, and then T'Challa, now Shuri, like that being within like the family like lineage of like he was a Black Panther, T'Challa was Black Panther, Shuri's a Black Panther.
Yeah,
I think that it's just kind of because everyone like respected T'Chaka and T'Challa and like that family. But I don't know who was like before T'Chaka, but maybe that's why T'Chaka wanted to be king of Wakanda, because he didn't like whoever was ruling before. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I mean, if I could choose anybody, so if we're wanting to go with a female Black Panther, you know, to show how progressive we are or whatever, Okoye. Or what's the other one who was fighting with Okoye? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Anika?
Yeah, maybe. That she was amazing too.
The one with that was fighting with the daggers in the beginning, and she's like,
yeah.
What are you fighting with?
I would say my vote would be for Okoye. I really like M'Baku too. Like, he's so cool and like just a powerhouse. I don't know if he would be. I don't know if he would be the right Black Panther because he's kind of arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a warrior, and I don't think Shuri is.
So I think that if, like you said, if like we were going with a female, Okoye is more like dedicated to the throne, and I think Nakia would have been the best choice.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because like she's an espionage.
Mm-hmm.
That whole.
Ooh, how cool would that have been if Nakia ended up being the Black Panther
See, I would've loved
instead
that.
of Shuri?
Yeah, and like I said, like Lupita, that's like the actress's name.
Mm-hmm.
She is like great in everything, and like deserves a main like role kind of thing. So I was like, oh man, they're gonna let her be the Black Panther. I mean, I kind of knew it was gonna be Shuri the whole time. But,
I think everyone assumed it was going to be Shuri.
But if we would have got Nakia as a Black Panther, I would have loved that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you on the whole M'Baku thing. I think he would have been. I think the character where he's at now would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I'm like with you and not with you on the whole Shuri thing because I think she'd like proved herself as a Black Panther.
Yeah, kind of. I just don't believe that. I don't believe it. You know what I mean? Like
I think it's still because like Chadwick Boseman is gone, and I think it's hard to like because you just expect him to show up.
No, for me, it's less about that and more about that fight scene with Namor. Like watching that scene, I'm like, so when he broke through because she basically trapped him in like a dehydration chamber.
Yeah.
And he like broke out of it.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, dang, like he's gonna whip her ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I'm sorry, but there's no way that she would have won that. But she did in the movie. You know? But if it was Nakia or Okoye, different story because they're powerhouses.
Well, I mean, I think it makes sense that she won though because like obviously he wasn't in the water. He couldn't get to the water.
No, I understand.
So like he was like already weakened pretty bad.
I understand. Like I watched the movie. I get it. But to me, I don't see her as like a powerhouse character.
I understand that. I'm just saying. I think that like where they took the character, how they like progressed her through the movie. I mean, because like the first time we see her, she's the tech goofball or like the comedic relief, and then you know through, I guess we only saw her in Infinity War. She was kind of the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But with this movie, it's like whenever a kid like loses their parents and they have to grow up fast. I think she just grew up fast, as in like a lot of emotional stuff. She just had to.
Yeah.
Like she realizes she lost her dad, her brother, and now her mom.
Mm-hmm.
She's the only one left. She's got a country to run because she's queen or king, whatever you want to call it, of Wakanda now. And she's the Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
So does she like... I feel like she's just going to be... She's like just new to the role. Like she doesn't know what to do. The next time we see her, I feel like she'll be more relaxed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's just a lot happened in a 1 year span. She lost her brother. She lost her mom. She's now the queen of Wakanda, a Black Panther. Where does she go now?
Mm-hmm.
Next movie, like, I feel like they could really tie in with the whole, like, post-credit scene, you know, with Nakia and her son, that we obviously find out is T'Challa's son. But, like, just seeing her interact with him just a little bit, like, you get more of the, like, the funny Shuri.
Yeah.
But she just has to have more of a presence now. Because she's like the leader of a country. Mm-hmm. So Anyway,
Yeah.
I think this is what needed to happen for her
Mm-hmm.
to like prove herself.
Okay.
And like obviously she made not amends, but she told Namor at the end of their fight, like, I promise we'll protect the seas, but like war is not the answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I, with everything being said, I am looking forward to seeing her character progress because this is the direction that they have chosen to go. And I obviously want her to progress. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm excited to see Namor. I'm excited to see Nakia and T'Challa's son. He was so
T'Challa.
cute. Yeah, right. I mean, he's the king. Gonna be the king, right? That's how that works.
I mean, I don't know
He's
if he'll
the
be
rightful heir, right? Because he's T'Challa's son.
king. I guess, but that's not what they wanted for him.
I don't know.
It'll be cool to see what they do with his character going forward, but I think we'll live in the world of Shuri as Black Panther for a while, and then, by the time we get to Secret Wars in 2025 or 2026, whenever it comes out, like how much they've aged up characters, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't have a lot else to say. It's been a few weeks since we've seen it, so it's not super fresh in my mind. Those were just kind of like the high points for me, things that I really like, things that I didn't like as much. Overall, it was a good movie, just not going to be one of my favorites. And just, I really base that on like the rewatchability thing. And I just didn't connect as much with Shuri as I would have liked.
I gotcha. Rewatchability for me, definitely more so than I think the first Black Panther because of Namor. Obviously, like, I'll have a special place in my heart for Black Panther 1 now because of Chadwick Boseman and, like, his role in that movie. And anytime I've seen him, like, in Infinity War and Endgame and the recent movie I watched with Draft Day, where he's in that movie, it's really sad. So, like, beyond that, I would rewatch this movie more than I would the first one.
Okay. I'm the opposite. I don't know. This is just such a heavy movie, and I don't like to be sad. So.
I understand. I don't think I'd be as sad as if I watched it again.
I think I would. I think I let myself get too, like,
emotionally invested.
Yes. And especially because it's not because it's a movie, because it's real. He really died.
Yeah.
And God, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you have anything else to say before I get all depressed over here?
No. I do think we're going to get a Namor solo movie, or, I mean, give me something Namor solo movie or like TV show or something.
Mm-hmm.
He's just too good of a character just to.
We'll see him again for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to switch gears, and you want to talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special?
Yes.
Okay, go for it. I can tell you right now, you're going to be much more passionate about this than I am.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Did you not like it?
I liked it fine. But it wasn't like my life didn't change because I saw it.
Neither did mine, but I enjoyed it.
It was all right. I think it's hard with Gamora being gone. This pretty big void there.
Okay.
And we also didn't see Star-Lord very much. It was obviously mostly like Mantis and Drax. Which I really liked Mantis in this.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it. It was good, but it wasn't like life-altering good.
I loved just that, like, we have this in-canon story for the MCU, but it didn't, like, it wasn't like taking itself too seriously. It was just having fun. And I think like phase 4 has been like a pretty depressing like phase, as in like there's been a lot of death and like sad and not like mopey, but just like a very heavy phase 4. Regardless of like what your opinions are on phase 4, like because everyone's like phase 4 sucks, but like this has been like a pretty sad, like a lot of people have died. There's been like a lot of like sad character development for characters throughout the movie in phase 4. So I thought this was just like really fun and light and obviously like very Christmassy, which like obviously we're in Christmas season, so it was awesome.
Yeah. I did like the performance in the special, the musical performance. I thought that was fun.
Oh,
and
in
really,
the beginning?
yeah, and it was really catchy.
Yeah.
So I did enjoy that. I feel like if you've seen the trailer for this, you've pretty much seen it. Because there wasn't anything like crazy that happened.
Yeah. I mean, it was only like 30. No, I guess it was longer than that. It was under an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like 45 minutes probably. So let me ask you this. Did you like this, or did you like this better, or did you like Werewolf by Night better?
That's hard because it's like way totally different. Oh, that's so hard. I don't know.
Because these are both Marvel special presentations.
No, yeah, I know. I am going to say Werewolf by Night just because of what it's opened up for the MCU. I think that was a huge turning point and a huge open door for classic monsters. So I'm excited about that. This didn't bring anything to the MCU, but it was entertaining. So if you're looking for something that's like lighthearted and funny and, you know, Christmassy, this is a good watch. Mm-hmm. I liked it. We'll probably watch it again, but it's nothing special to me.
I would agree with you on the fact that I liked Werewolf by Night better, as in obviously it does a lot more world building for the MCU. And like it's moving the MCU forward. But as a self-contained, like this is a fun watch, like absolutely. I love Guardians. And obviously I love the Guardians as like a whole anyway.
Yeah.
I love the first movie. It's like in my top 5 MCU. And the second movie, like I loved, but it's not, you know, towards the top of mine.
Right.
I think it's towards the top of yours and your top 10. But I did like that we got, you know, the Guardians own Nowhere now. The head of the Celestial. So it's cool that like it's showing them like, I mean, it's building on the MCU, but like not in strides like other stuff has. So it's just like, hey, this is kind of what the Guardians have done since we saw them in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Because that's the last place we saw them. So it's like they've settled on Nowhere. You know, they're trying to rebuild that place. And obviously, we'll see what happens after this for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah.
I did love that we saw Groot as a teenager.
Uh-huh.
Groot.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
I know, it was so funny though. And he didn't look like CG. He looked like Vin Diesel like in a Groot suit.
Could be. Yeah.
I mean, he did look CG a little bit, but most of the scenes I'm like, this is actually Vin Diesel in a Groot suit, I feel like.
Yeah, because he was kind of shorter and stocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He Kraglin said like, oh, Groot, he's just a kid.
Yeah.
Whenever they talking to Kevin Bacon about it. Because he's like, was that a talking tree?
Kraglin is so funny.
Yeah, I know. I love him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean, we get like little winks and nods, like Cosmo, the dog. We'd seen Cosmo on Nowhere in Volume 1. And like obviously we get a little bit of Rocket, and the whole Bucky arm was hilarious.
Yeah, no, that was funny.
That Nebula got him.
I felt like that was a really good like connecting piece to the franchise, because it felt a little bit separated from the movies.
Oh, Guardians as a whole? Yeah.
Yeah, and so that little piece where she brought him the arm, like kind of brought it back to home for me, and that was really funny.
You got me Bucky's arm? And I love Rocket. I think he's my favorite Guardian. I'm trying to think what else I really enjoyed. I mean, I loved Mantis's whole like through line through this like special. Like obviously she's like officially Peter's sister. Yeah. So that was awesome. And I love that Peter was like, I have a sister? You're my sister? And like he's like, that's the best Christmas present you could ever give me. So I love that. Like I love Chris Pratt. So like that whole, you just like, even though I think James Gunn just does like a really great job about making you feel like for characters. Because like I definitely felt more for Mantis than I have in the past.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I always thought she was funny, but like this, I was like, oh my god, like she's killing it. Drax was super funny per usual, and I definitely think they'll kill him off in Volume 3.
Yeah, does Dave Bautista like want to continue?
I don't think so. I think that's why.
I kind of feel like Drax wasn't quite Drax in this. There were definitely some times where I'm like, okay, he's having to really act hard right now, as opposed to, oh, he is just the character. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I get that sometimes. I got that a couple times. Yeah. I do like that he was like wearing a vest. Because they're like, he's probably sick and tired of sitting in a makeup chair for 7 hours, getting makeup on his stomach and his back. So now they just have to do his head and his arms. Yeah. It makes sense to me. But I've seen a lot of people complaining about that. I'm like, what's it matter if you see his chest and like his belly? Yeah. And he's just got tattoos underneath there or whatever they are, like brands. Yeah. Huh. So that doesn't make sense to me why people are complaining about that. But it didn't affect the story at all. But I do think Drax did feel like a little not Drax.
Yeah, he was a little more tame. And
maybe so. And
I not even that. I just, you can feel the disconnect between the actor and the character a little bit. Yeah. Nothing that's going to ruin the show or anything like that, but if you're paying attention, you'll definitely notice.
Yeah, I think a lot of that came with when Disney fired James Gunn. Yeah. And like 4 years ago now at this point. And then it was like a whole big thing, and they've like obviously James Gunn's working with Marvel now, but he's the new CEO head or CEO of
DC.
Of DC, yeah.
There's a lot going on up there.
And yeah, I just, I feel like that was probably a little bit of why he was different acting. But I do think they will kill him off in the next movie.
Yeah, maybe.
I feel like if they did kill him off in the movie, it would be like a good team moment for the Guardians, because like everyone loves Drax. So like if something happened to him, yeah, it would I don't know. Kind of like the whole Yondu thing. Yeah. It's like a similar thing to that. Like Drax isn't the dad of the group, but Drax is a goofball, but at the same time, like he has like especially in Volume 2, he's got like a lot of good moments. Like we're family, like the Guardians were family, that whole thing. Anyway, I'm trying to think what else I liked. There's not much to say about it. I just really loved that it was something in the MCU that was kind of self-contained, but still has a little bit of like connective tissue to the rest of the MCU, and it was just really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved Groot. I was like, I'm so excited for Volume 3 now, because from this point where we see Groot now, like how much more does he grow when we see him in Volume 3, or like where do we pick up after this holiday special in Volume 3? Because I don't think it'll be like volume, or the holiday special happens and we're picking you up with Volume 3. I think it'll be like a few months have passed by, or like a year has passed by kind of thing. So yeah, that's all I'm going to really say about Guardians.
Okay. You want to talk Marvel news? Or I have just really one thing for Disney news that I wanted to talk about real quick.
Okay. Marvel news, I think the biggest piece for me, and personally for me, would be that Chris Hemsworth has talked about stepping away from acting for a little bit because of his diagnosis. I don't know if did we talk about this
I don't think we did
at all in the
Did
last
we?
episode. I can't remember, but well, a synopsis, and I guess he not. Hold on, go ahead.
So he is genetically predisposed and has more risk factors for developing Alzheimer's, which is basically it.
Okay.
But he wants to take a break from acting to spend more time with like his family.
That's right.
Because he has young kids, not young kids, but young enough kids where you still want to be around them, you know?
Yeah. So that's sad. One, I think it's great that he's going to step away from acting.
Just for a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he has so much money. Like, what does he need to work for ever again?
Yeah. I
No
understand.
reason at all. I think that he probably would come back for Thor, but maybe not do anything else. I don't know.
I think there's a lot of drama behind the scenes about the whole Thor thing as well, because in interviews I've seen, like, where he's talked about like stepping away from acting, and like when he would come back, like what he would do. Like, obviously he loves the character of Thor because it's like made his career, but he's like, I definitely want to see Thor taken in a different direction, which makes me think that, like, after seeing like the reviews of Love and Thunder, like he was like, oh, okay, like we do not need another Taika film. And as much as I love Thor Love and Thunder, like I'm more against Taika Waititi as time goes by. Because I'm like, man, there were so many opportunities that they missed on this movie that they could have done with a little bit more serious. And like I've told you, like I've been thinking about what would happen in a Thor 5 movie anyway. I kind of told you like what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But I won't say that here. I was thinking about making my own podcast for podcast episode talking about that. But I think the character of Thor has a lot more lore that you can add. So it would be really sad to see Chris Hemsworth step away. I mean, for a little while, yes, but I don't think he'll step away for good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think he'll come back to reprise the role. I just don't think he's going to do any other roles in the meantime.
Yeah. Tom Holland said the same thing after Spider-Man No Way Home. He's like, I'm going to step away from like the Spider-Man character for a while. And we're a year in and we haven't heard anything about a Spider-Man anything. So, you know, like they've kind of gave him his like year break kind of deal. And like, obviously, I don't think there's been any news of like, hey, Spider-Man 4 is happening with Tom Holland. So I think, you know, giving an actor their space, their time, makes the actor want to come back and like reprise. Or like, for some actors are just kind of done with Hollywood, and other actors are like, I want to get back into the movies kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's awesome that he's like actually stepping away. Because, some would be like, oh, I'm just going to keep doing what I do. And obviously family means more to him than like money, which is, that's great. And I really want to watch his, the National Geographic Limitless show that he's in.
Yeah, that looks good.
So, and that's kind of how this whole thing got discussed, because that's where they talk about that in. So I really want to watch that. I should have watched it last week, but I haven't.
Yeah, we've been a little busy.
Yeah. That's all the Marvel news that like I have at the top of my head. I mean, there's other stuff that's happening, but I don't know enough information about these topics to talk about.
Okay.
I'm just more passionate about Thor, and like I love Chris Hemsworth, so.
Yeah, that was kind of that was a big.
So it was sad.
Big piece of news.
Well, it's sad because like Alzheimer's is a very serious.
Oh yeah.
Very, very serious thing, and like this actor that loves playing this character, he has to step away.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sad. Okay. That's all I'm going to say, but let's hear about your Disney news.
So, really just one thing for now, and then I wanted to really, really briefly talk about the Santa Clauses.
Oh, okay.
We're going to do podcasts about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in Epcot, have you seen pictures of the Journey of Water, Moana?
Huh.
That's in Epcot.
Uh-huh.
So they're making a lot of progress. So next time we go to Disney in a decade, this will be completed. It looks really cool. But also, Disney filed a patent for boat ride technology that features drawings of Moana and Maui. So it's possible in the future we will get a Moana attraction, like a boat ride attraction.
Oh, so that's just like an area.
Well, this is called Journey of Water, but I'm not really sure. For some reason, this is something that I don't feel like anybody knows very much about. Like, I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it is a boat ride attraction, but anyway, they filed a patent for this new technology.
Interesting.
And there's some concept art there. So I don't know. I think that would be awesome. I love Moana. Obviously, it's like one of my top movies.
It is your top movie.
Man, how do you recall like the list? Anyway, so that's kind of the Disney parks news. I didn't do a lot of research this week, but we'll try to keep everybody updated with like the big stuff in the next podcast. So the Santa Clauses.
Yes.
So a new episode just dropped today.
We haven't watched it yet.
I know, we have to watch it tonight.
We kind of let them build up.
Yeah, we watched the first 3 all together. The first one, I will say, after watching the first one, I was like, okay, this is not right. This is weird. But then the second one was good, and then the third one was good, and now I'm like fully invested in this, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, it is super fun. Tim Allen is definitely.
Yeah, and so I feel like we're not going to say a lot, because if you haven't watched it, I don't want to ruin anything yet. We'll do a podcast on probably the whole
series. Yeah.
But in the first episode, he was like huge. And I feel like he had a facial prosthetic in the first episode, and then that's not there.
Oh
now.
Yeah, he doesn't look so
elf-like.
Yeah, like clay, or not clay, plasticky.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like the bad Santa from the second movie.
Third movie. Oh, okay. You're talking about the toy Santa.
The toy Santa.
I feel like his nose in the first episode looks like Jack Frost's nose in the third movie. How it's more like kind of pointy and round at the end.
Yeah.
So I don't really know if he actually had a prosthetic on, but it looks like it in the first episode, and then in the second and the third it's different, and if you watch the show you'll know why he looks different. But I just feel like I had to warm up to it, but now there's a couple things that I don't like, but overall really enjoying it so
Yeah.
far.
Same here.
So we'll talk about that soon.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like some of the shows that come out on Disney Plus, we talked about this, and we'll talk about this in a minute. But we feel like if there's something else happening, like if kind of like what happened with She-Hulk and Andor, we haven't watched Andor yet because we've been busy and trying to keep up with like everything else in our lives, as well as trying to watch these shows was like a little bit difficult. So, I know I really want to watch Andor, but it's just like in the evenings you just want to relax and do other things. And I've also been playing God of War. It has been eating up most of my time, like in my free time. And if I want to watch like Andor, I'd want to watch it with you. So we're watching at the same time, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I have a hard time like slowing down to watch something together. I'm more of like a watch TV by myself kind of person most of the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a weird thing about me, but that's how I am.
Yeah.
So, and then
She's weird.
Yeah, agree with you. Definitely weird. But I don't know what else to say. Santa Clauses is good. If you haven't watched it or you haven't started to watch it yet, I would recommend it. It's really good. Feels like the spirit of Christmas.
Yeah,
It's
it
in the
definitely
mood.
brings back like nostalgia-y
Yeah,
vibes for like the first Santa Claus, like the first one and the second one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great so far.
The set is beautiful. So
Yeah, it's really pretty.
very nostalgic. Anyway, that's all I'll say about that. You have anything else?
Do we want to tell them our thoughts for next year?
You can tell him. You can tell him what you think. That's fine. Go ahead.
What I think. We talked about this on the way
We
home.
talked about it. I have not committed to anything.
Okay, so we're in debate about doing a podcast a day for 365 days next year. I think we can do it because I think we can do it. Ashley does not think we can do it.
It's nuts.
The other day on our way home from one of our Thanksgivings we went to, we jotted down a ton of ideas for podcasts and like episodes and different things, and I was like, man, this can be done. Ashley is, on the other hand, is not. And the reason I want to do a podcast a day every day next year is to see, one, how much we can grow as a podcast, and two, if the podcast got big enough by like some chance, like you could quit your job kind of thing, or
yeah.
like that's just like the things that I think whenever. The only reason we're doing this too is like along the lines of like that, trying to grow the podcast.
Well, I mean, we talked about it in our first episode. Like we wanted to start the podcast because we don't get to spend time together. That's just you and I. That's quality time where we get to communicate and talk about things that we enjoy. Like that doesn't happen when you have kids and you both work.
Yeah.
Unless you like specifically set aside the time. So like the podcast for us has been really great because we've been able to talk and have a good time and talk about something that we're both passionate about, Disney and all things Disney. It's been really, really fun, but there's that other side to it where we kind of do treat it like a job with expectations of ourselves and the quality and, you know, having deadlines, not necessarily deadlines, but some sort of schedule
Like
that we're trying to stick to. And like, we do take it very seriously. I mean, obviously this is our 46th episode and we have been doing this, 8 months, 9 months, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 months.
Like May.
Yeah, I think it was May or something, but we do take it seriously. And so I'm scared to commit to doing one a day because I know how hard it has been to do like one a week or two a week.
No, I get that. But I've seen like multiple videos online about people doing a podcast a day and like the sponsors that they do now, and like this guy quit his job and is doing this full time, and he just talks, I mean, kind of like what Joe Rogan does. Obviously he doesn't post every day, but like I do think he posts almost every day, but it's, you got to think of it like a job. And I just think that it would be really cool to have our podcast take off. Like, one, it would be awesome just to say like, hey, we got like a really popular podcast online.
Yeah.
And also, like, how cool would it be to be, you know, the Strange Worlds movie from Disney just came out last week, and I heard it's like bombing at the moment. But how cool would it have been to be like, or even for like Marvel movies, like, hey guys, you're invited to like a special presentation.
Yeah.
Like a critic. Like, you guys can come see this movie 2 weeks before the movie's actually out.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, I completely agree with you. We're on the same page. Like, this, I love doing this. This is something I'm passionate about. I do want to treat it like a job, but the thought is just a little overwhelming because we both already have jobs, and I have other jobs, several that I like consistently do. Mm-hmm. But we'll definitely keep it in mind. We've got a month to decide if we're going to go for it or what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think we should do it.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But that's Josh's big plan here.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think we should bring this episode to an end.
Yeah.
You want to do the...
Yeah, we talked about a lot today. There's been a lot going on, and I feel like we haven't been doing as many episodes recently because life.
Yeah, it's the holidays. And that's kind of what we had talked about, too. Like, you know, this is like, I think podcasts as in general right now have kind of slowed down online anyway because it's a holiday season. Schedules, like, everyone's trying to go to like different Thanksgivings and Christmases, and like, you're gonna miss out on an episode or two during like this time. And it's like more of a family time anyway, so, you know, like, we've been putting off the podcast for like, you know, a few days now, but this is like because we would hang out with Grayson or like just take the time that we have to relax and like recoup from like holiday and eating turkey and like being fat and
depressed.
Yeah.
So okay, well, I would love to hear from you guys what you guys thought about Black Panther, because that was kind of like the main topic today. Also, if you've seen the Guardians of the Galaxy special, what did you think? And then really just stay tuned for the Santa Clauses. We'll probably wait until... Is it just going to be the one season? I'm not sure.
As far as I know, it's just...
If it's just... I don't know. Regardless, we're going to wait till this season is wrapped, and then we'll probably do a podcast talking about the whole season.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. We have tons of ideas.
We also have to have a... like... for multiple things, kind of a year-end review for like a Marvel year-end review, a like Disney animation / Pixar year-end review, kind of one of those things.
Another idea. We'll see.
We'll have to, that'll be like end of the year kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because we'll still have Avatar to see, and
eventually
Strange World will come out to Disney Plus, which I think it'll come to Disney Plus pretty quick because it's bombing. Like I said, it's bombing in the box office. So
I saw oh my gosh, what's her name? Zoe
Saldana?
Yes. She said obviously they watched the screening of Avatar, and she said she was like crying the whole time. I can't wait to see it because I love the first one.
Yeah.
And I am like, my sister, we were kind of talking about this really briefly, and she was like, they keep giving us sequels that we didn't ask for. Like, it's been 10 years, it's been 12 years, it's been 15 years, and they're
quoting Disenchanted.
Now we have Disenchanted, which, by the way, I did finally finish. Enjoyed it. Not as much as the first one. Anyway, I am so pumped for Avatar. Mm-hmm. Like, I loved the first one. It was so good, and I will still watch it from time to time, and it's so good. It holds up. The CGI, like, I feel like held up really well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, obviously we'll do a podcast on that, but I'm pretty excited. I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah. I'm more interested about because James Cameron obviously brought so much to the table with, like the 3D and
Yeah.
how they shoot the movie. This is going to be an underwater movie for the most part, I think. So, like, this is like new technology that they're bringing to the table.
They have been so secretive, like, about the plot of this one.
Yeah, I know.
It's just like about water, and that's what everyone keeps saying.
Yeah.
It's about water, and it's like we know nothing. Even the previews are just like them kind of flying over the water or jumping in the water, like it's
it's very
secret.
There's like no plot to the
yeah
to the trailers. Like normally you get like we got that teaser trailer for it, and then we got like the official trailer. And normally, like with the official trailer, you get like, like this is happening, but you really don't get that. You just get like a lot of clips and music, and them talking.
Yeah.
But nothing to drive the plot. The only part I remember is like, we're a family, we stay together, and then that's
water.
Yeah.
Anyway, lots of things to come, so stay tuned. Thank you guys for listening and supporting us. Thank you guys for sharing the podcast. We really do appreciate it. I'm excited to see where this goes, and we're going to keep putting out content, and hopefully you all enjoy it.
Shout out to Autumn.
Yeah.
By the way, on our she tagged us in her post. We were in her top 3 podcasts on Spotify today.
I haven't seen it yet. On Instagram?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We were her top 3 on her stories.
Man, sometimes I like live in a hole.
Because I was like, what is this? Autumn tagged us in something. And I was like, oh, awesome.
Wait, on Instagram?
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, let's see.
Maybe it's already gone.
Hold on, let me back up.
It would be under her profile.
My top podcast. Oh, yay! Oh, that is so cool. Spotify is doing like the end of the year, like what you listen to for us, since we're creators on Spotify, like what your podcast has done.
Yeah. And
I posted one of the things on our stories earlier. We're in the top 25% most shared globally, which is what I shared on our stories on Instagram. But we were also, I think we were in like the top 19 podcasts for like, no, top 10 podcasts for like 19 people. And then top 5 podcasts for like 14 people, so on and so forth. But anyway, that was exciting. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you, Autumn.
Yeah, I was so excited.
It's so rare to find like genuine people who are supportive, Yeah. Because like we talk about this all the time. Like I talk about this with so many people, and very few people like actually legitimately like care. So thank you. Anyway, what else you got? That's pretty much it for today.
That was it.
I feel like that was a long episode.
Yeah, it was only an hour and 4 minutes, but it's just a longer episode than we've done here lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw that earlier, and I was like, I gotta say something in the podcast today. But anyway, we were gonna wrap up this episode, and we will catch you guys in the next one.